Tell me when to press.
You can press.
And they're off to the races. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Happy Friday. Welcome to Fry's Corner Bar. I don't have a fancy hat like some people, so I have this hat. So, I don't know what that is. That was called a reverie. Anyway, welcome to Fry's Corner Bar. We appreciate you guys stopping in tonight. We've got Kentucky Derby menu set up. I'm making the Kentucky Hot Brown sandwich, and Shannon is making a couple of really nice cocktails. One of them is
I'm making the Kentucky Bride with Smokey eyes, which is a riff on a Boulevardier, which I love. And then I am making a mint juleps.
okay. So I have in the oven a Kentucky hot brown sandwich. Sorry, I have a hard time getting my words out today. Which should be done in about 7, maybe 8 minutes. And then I'm going to show you what that looks like, and then I will assemble one. In the meantime,
let's say hello to
hey Jim.
Hey Jim, how are you?
How's everything back in Missouri?
So we love the comments. So if you have comments, like and share. That's always good.
Yeah. So hopefully everybody's having a good week and everything's going well.
So do you want me to start making the cocktail and then you ready?
Sure. Yeah, I think so.
I
have about 8 or 9 minutes over here.
Okay. So I am going to start with the Kentucky Bride with Smokey eyes, because the mint julep we're making is a tall one, so that's going to take a while for us to drip. So this recipe, let me just put the recipe up. This recipe has a ½ ounce of mezcal, 3/4 of an ounce of Campari, 3/4 ounce of Amaro Nonino, which is and then 1.5 ounces of bourbon. And this is a stirred drink, and it calls for 3 drops of ginger bitters, which I don't happen to have, so I'm going to use this Bitter Truth aromatic bitters. So let me hide this so that you can see that, and we're going to just start. I'm actually going to start with the mezcal. Well, Mike's going to open the mezcal.
I will open the mezcal.
And I will start with the bourbon. How many hats do you have?
Lots.
Okay, so we're doing an ounce. Actually, I'm doing 3 ounces because I forgot Mike wanted one of these. And we are going to do the 3/4 ounce of Campari. I'm going to double that, so I'm doing 1.5 ounces. And I really enjoy any drink that has the Italian bitter in it. Negronis, Boulevardiers. And this Amaro Nonino is a nice liqueur. And we're going to do 1.5 ounces of this. And then I'm going to do 1 ounce of the mezcal. Thank you for opening that.
You're very welcome.
I told him he shouldn't have jeans on because you can't wear jeans to the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, well, I know people.
I've always wanted to go to the Kentucky Derby. Maybe one day I'll make it.
My parents used to go. Pat and the Indy 500 used to go to that once in a while.
And I just put in 6 drops of the bitter. And then I'm going to fill my glass with ice. Okay, let's just say a couple things here while we see this. So Kevin Shoei says hello.
Hey, Kevin.
And Jim says, my wife Tara was just saying 40 minutes ago she wants a mint julep.
Well, come on over. We'll make you one.
And then, oh, Patty, I haven't seen you. Yeah, your hat, looking good. Thank you very much. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Patty.
You look like you're having an amazing time down in Florida. You guys are doing so many fun things. much more courageous during this time than we've been. But tomorrow is my 2 weeks after the second vaccine, so.
Mine's Tuesday.
So we are almost there. So this is a liquor drink, so we stir it. I'm gonna stir and chill.
Liquor.
And I'm gonna have to use regular ice cubes because Mike
Somebody forgot to make
Mike neglected to make the
big ice balls.
and we are gonna pour this in the double old-fashioned glasses. Have my julep strainer. You can use a hawthorn as well. Just,
You can, yes.
always have to make sure I get them even.
That's right.
Mike gives me trouble. And then I will fill a glass with ice, a couple scoops. You don't need to fill it all the way. And then this takes a garnish of an orange swath. So you just take your orange swath and you squirt the zest on it.
I have 4 minutes on my.
Well, that's
Hot
okay. I think you can talk for 4 minutes. I can talk about something else.
Well, I can
And then we
actually
have a
assemble
lime.
them.
Yes, that's the plan. And then I have a lime swath.
We have a plan.
He has a plan.
Shannon has a plan.
So that is the Kentucky Bride.
Woo! Kentucky Bride. Does she have smoky eyes? Because I love smoky eyes.
Yep. Supposedly she has smoky eyes.
Okay.
So.
See, I have a big floppy hat now, like you got.
Yep, I see that.
I think
You're
it
gonna
looks.
use all of your hats up, but then you won't have any surprises for.
This is really my pimpin' hat, so I pimp with this one.
So cheers.
Cheers! Trying this out. I don't think I've had this.
Good weekend. No, we actually this week I was not able to. Well, I pre-made the juleps. I did not pre-make this one.
Oh yeah, that's very smoky with the mezcal.
Yeah, it's really
This is
good.
very tasty.
Yeah, it's like a. If you like a Boulevardier,
You're
it's
gonna
like
like
a little
this.
smoky.
Yeah,
It adds a little more smoke to it. It's really good.
absolutely.
Highly recommend this.
Yeah, I mean, have
Max is asking.
Max who?
Max Frizy.
Max
our
Frizy?
son,
Freezy?
yeah, is asking how many hats does Dad have? I don't know.
I don't know. So,
So why don't you start out by explaining what the hot brown is?
okay, let me just see where this one's at. It has about 2 minutes left. The hot brown is a famous sandwich that.
Betty Brown just says $100 for the win. Looking great. Okay, now you can go.
Okay. The hot brown, I've only had it once before, and I didn't realize how famous it was, but it was invented in Louisville, Kentucky, not Louisville, Kentucky, in 1926 at the Brown Hotel. And I did a little research on it as well this week, and I guess they serve like hundreds and hundreds of those things every day. And they serve them, people come in, they want it for breakfast, lunch, dinner, anytime, late at night. I guess it's really kind of a famous sandwich that people would have after the Kentucky Derby, after they've had several of the mint juleps.
Any one of our viewers had a hot brown? Well,
Besides that, yeah.
Yeah, you can keep going. They'll answer.
Yeah. So anyway, so it's a really good sandwich. It's an open face sandwich with toast and turkey and a Mornay sauce and tomatoes and bacon. So it's completely low fat, low carb. It's packed with calories. It honestly is. I'm going to serve it just with a salad tonight. Nothing more than that, because it's very calorie intensive. This is not something you want to eat a lot of, but I think, to celebrate the Kentucky Derby, it's a nice thing to do. And I wanted something that would be sort of stick to your ribs. So if you are going to do this, it's great to do. The other thing I wanted to just mention is you use like turkey breast, sliced turkey breast, and I actually roast the turkey loins. And I actually posted that on, I think it's on Fry's Corner Bar. You can take a look at how I did it. And the reason I always do my own turkey loins for like lunch, for sandwiches and lunch meat and stuff, is because it's so much cheaper and there's no preservatives. There's nothing else added to it. It's just 2 turkey loins. You dry them off, you salt and pepper it. I wrap 2 strips of nice bacon around it, and I bake it in the oven at 425 for about 20 to 25 minutes. You want to start temping that at about 20 minutes, just because some loins are going to be a little thicker, some are a little smaller, and then also they kind of taper down from the top to the bottom. So you definitely don't want to overcook them. Then you just slice that on the angle, and it's just a nice piece of meat that you can use for deli sandwiches. You can also do it with pork loins. I guess you could do it with a beef tenderloin. I've never done it with beef tenderloin. But anyway, let me check and see how things are cooking over here.
Okay, do you want to bring that stuff over to the food pan, or what do you want?
Well, first I just want to show what I've got.
Okay.
So, just 1 second.
Oh, it's nice and bubbly. I don't know where he disappeared to. Where'd you go? Honey.
Since Max Freezy's watching, look familiar? You left it. Anyway, so what I did is I have.
Okay, they can't see you.
They can hear me. So
I'm
gonna make one.
Well, then just bring all that over and explain that.
Okay, well, I'm taking this back over. So anyway, this is what it looks like when it's done.
And so he'll assemble one, and he can explain what's on it when he's assembling it. Actually, I should have been showing comments. Susan says, "Love that hat." Thank you, Susan.
Okay.
Lisa Garvey, she says yes. Toured Churchill down and had a mint julep and a hot brown.
Yes, I forgot. The bacon goes on top when it's all done. Okay, so when it's all done, you lay the bacon on top, and then you consume the sandwich.
Joe Overschmidt says, if you're not going to drink your drink, he'll take it.
Dream on. So, hang on 1 second.
So I am going, how much, is it just 1 second? Okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so I'm gonna hide this so they
Alright.
can see everything, and you need to move, this is the center, so you need to move everything this way. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so what you do is you take your bread, and I used Hawaiian bread because it's a little sweeter. I thought it would be interesting to try it. I actually looked for Texas toast, and I couldn't find anything that I was really enamored with, and so anyway, so I'm using Hawaiian bread, which I like because it's a little sweet. And then this is some of the turkey here that I roasted today. So if you look, you can see a whole turkey loin on our website where I had roasted it, and I've walked you through the steps. You can see I still have a little bit of the bacon left on this, and it's just going to be some added flavor, because who doesn't like lots of bacon?
I love this turkey loin. I put it on my salads to take to work. It's very good. Well, I don't do it, so it's really easy.
Yes. Very
But
easy.
it's very tasty.
So this is the drink. So I'm going to take a little sip of that. Thank you, Joe, for reminding me.
Jim.
And then on top of this, these are tomatoes. It actually called for Roma tomatoes, but when I went to the store this morning, the Romas just looked so greenish, and I knew that they just wouldn't be as flavorful. So these are hydroponically grown from Vermont. Even these are not that flavorful. They look nice, but I think they could have gone on the vine another few days. So I made up this Gournay sauce, which is just 2 tablespoons of butter, and then you melt it. Then you I added in 2 tablespoons of flour.
Do you want me to?
No, it's not that important. We'll see it in a second. And then Once the butter melted, I added in the flour. I whisked that around. And then once that turned into a nice pasty roux, I added in 8 ounces of heavy cream and 8 ounces of whole milk. And then
low cal.
Yes, it's all low cal. This is a non-fat meal. So then I just whisked that in and let that all kind of, come to a nice simmer. I had it on medium for the heat at that point, and then I dumped in almost a cup of Romano Porcino cheese. Probably didn't say that right, Max, but anyway. So then once you've got your toast, your turkey, your tomatoes, you're just gonna take this.
So as the first batch, it's like he has had this on the double boiler for
Yeah, I've had this
for a while. So is that the same?
It's a little, yeah, it's cooked a little bit more. I had made this earlier around 6 o'clock, and it's been setting in the double boiler, and it may have been up a little higher than I expected. And then my beautiful assistant and barkeep said, "Hey, that's up a little high. You ought to turn that down." So I did, and then here we are.
Because a bechamel is one of my expertise, because
But this is my gourmet sauce.
yes, but it's a bechamel base. So because biscuits and gravy is my claim to fame. I always that's one of the interesting things about living in New England is biscuits and gravy is not really a thing.
Oh, biscuits are a thing and gravy's a thing, just not putting them together is a thing. So what I'm going to finish up here with, it calls for the Romano cheese. I'm going to use this Parmesan because I kind of like it a little better. I think it gives a little bit more flavor to it. Okay, this is going to go in the oven at 350 for approximately 20 minutes. The one I had pulled out just a few minutes ago was only in there about 18 minutes. But because of the show, I wanted to get it done. So once this is done, once you pull this out, it should have some nice golden brown. You're just going to lay a couple of strips of bacon across it. So I want to talk a minute about the bacon that I made. So much.
Did you want to put paprika on it?
Yeah, this gets sprinkled over. That just gets sprinkled over the finished product. So I forgot to do that. Just a little bit of paprika. So if you notice my bacon, it's really flat. A lot of times when you cook bacon in a skillet, the fat causes the bacon to curl up a little bit. So what I do is I bake it in the oven at 400 degrees for about, depending on how fatty and how thick and all that about your bacon, usually for anywhere from 17 to 20 minutes. And the way I do it is I put into my pan, I put my pan down, and then I take a piece of, what is it?
Parchment paper?
Yes, parchment paper. And I lay that down, I lay the bacon in it, fold it over, and then I put another pan on top. I can't show you because they're dirty. And what it does is it creates nice flat pieces of bacon.
Yes. So Max says thin the what was that? I was going to say
Mornay sauce.
Mornay sauce with more cream. And
I used it all. Sorry.
Ken Paul says nice hats.
Thank you. Let me see what else I have, Ken.
Okay, so are you done?
Pretty much.
Okay, so now we'll move on to the mint julep. Now I will say, Mike and I had our first mint julep probably what, 35, almost 40, over 40.
I think we were 12.
It was actually over 35 years ago. And it was the first time we ever had it. And at that time, we weren't really bourbon drinkers. And that was, I was like, oh my God, this is worth drink ever.
Yeah, we were Wayne and Julie Smiths in Kansas City, actually in Westport of Kansas City.
And you don't need to go into that history.
They could be watching. Wayne, Julie, hello, long time.
So I researched. So I did some research on the mint juleps, and there are hundreds of variations on the mint julep. What I did find, and I will say tonight I'm going to make the mint juleps in Collins glasses. The traditional way to make a mint julep is in a julep tin, which is a silver cup that's kind of, it's honestly shaped, so it's a conical shape. And it was a cup that was invented in the 40s, and it has a lot of prestige around it. I was actually going to buy some like stainless steel ones, but they were even more expensive than I wanted to spend. You don't want to buy julep cups a week before the Derby. So I'm making mine in 12-ounce Collins glasses. A typical julep cup is 12 ounces. And these are going to be double. They're going to be extra strong. If you don't want a cocktail as strong as the one I'm going to make, you can always make it in an old-fashioned glass. But basically, a julep is bourbon and sugar, mint, and water. But what varies a lot is the sugar and the method in which you put the sugar and the mint in the drink. So a lot of people muddle mint, and so I have this mint that I picked from our garden, and basically I soak it in an ice bath for 90 minutes, and then I cut the stems at an angle, and I put them in water. So one of the methods is you muddle mint in the glass, just like you would with a mojito. You muddle the mint and a plain simple syrup, or you make a mint simple syrup. Now, it takes a lot more mint to make a mint simple syrup, and there's a lot of debate about which method is the best. What I'll say is, if you're making big batch mint juleps, if you're having a big Kentucky Derby party, you absolutely want to make a big batch of mint simple syrup. You put 4 parts bourbon to 1 part simple syrup. Now, and that's the other variation. There were 3 different, main recipes I saw. It was 4-to-1 with the simple syrup and with the sugar. It was 4-to-2. And there was even one recipe that I saw that was 4-to-3. And that was a really old recipe. And I think it goes back to the times that really, if you make a mint julep that is 4 parts bourbon and 3 parts sugar, you really have an alcoholic iced tea, right? It's sweet. It has all of the ice in it. You can sip it all day. So I really think the 4-to-3 is, if you don't like the taste of bourbon and you want to have a mint julep, but you love iced tea, I say go 4-to-3. Last night we tested the 4-to-1 and the 4-to-2. The 4-to-1 was, you still got the heat from the bourbon. The 4-to-2, in my opinion, was a little too sweet. So I'm going to make, Mike liked the 4-to-1 ratio. I actually think I'm going to try a 4-to-1.5 ratio. So, I did make the mint simple syrup, but if you were just making a couple cocktails, it's not worth making the mint simple syrup. So you basically just take your fresh mint leaves and you put, 5 to 7 of them in the bottom of your glass. We are going to have double mint here. You always want to pull the bottom leaves off because you want to save the top bouquet we're going to use as a garnish. So let me find another good leaf here from the yard, and then
we'll see you next weekend, Maxwell.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. We get to see Max,
and then we'll see you in 3 weeks as well for a longer time.
So you just put the leaves in the glass, and then you put your simple syrup. So I'm going to make Mike's with the 4-to-1 ratio. Now, I want to explain this. So we are using tall Collins glasses, the 12-ounce glasses. If you're using an old-fashioned glass, you basically want to half everything. So right now, I'm gonna do 4 ounces of bourbon and 1 ounce of simple syrup for Mike. I'm gonna do 4 ounces of bourbon and 1.5 ounces of simple syrup for myself. If you have a 10-ounce old-fashioned glass, you just want to use 2 ounces of the liquor, and then what do we got? 1/2 and 3/4. So that is the math on that.
Jim, if she gets that done before I finish this, you're welcome to the rest of it, okay?
So I am giving Mike 1 ounce of this simple syrup.
I love your hat, by the way.
You do. Thank you very much. And I'm giving myself 1.5 ounces because I just felt like, I don't know, it just felt like drinking tea on a summer day. It was like, it's so, and then when you're using the mint, now if you're using just mint syrup, you don't have to muddle, but I have the mint in there. So we're gonna muddle, and we're just really pressing down and expressing.
You don't want to destroy the mint leaves.
We're not bruising and making the mint leaves a million pieces. We're just really pressing down to get that flavor.
Because
Can you get my crushed ice, babe?
I sure can. When you tear up the mint and really destroy it, what happens is it creates some bitterness, and you don't want that bitterness in the mint. You just want to basically, like Shannon said.
Shannon says, we already have mint. We do have mint. It was like, yours hasn't come back yet. She's jealous. Well, our mint, we have a huge mint patch, and I will say it's in a very sunny location. Beautiful top and hat. Oh, thank you, Stephanie. Thank you so much. Okay, so now I have previously crushed ice. I actually have this bag that I use to crush ice, and I basically put the ice in the bag, and I have my badass muddler. You can use a rolling pin, you can use anything, and you just beat it. It's very therapeutic. And
I just make sure that I don't make her mad when she's holding that, because I don't want to be beat.
And you, and what's nice about crushing ice in a cotton bag is it basically pulls all the water out. A lot of times when you have crushed ice, it melts really fast. So then it's not as fluffy and nice. So we have this nice fluffy crushed ice, of which I'm going to fill the glass halfway full with this nice fluffy crushed ice.
So Jim, we'll be back in September to visit you guys, so hopefully we can stop by the Underbar.
And then I am going to put now each one of these cocktails is going to have 4 ounces of bourbon. Yes, you would never get this in a restaurant, right? Because most restaurants never do.
Yeah, they typically would be a 1.5 or a 2 ounce pour.
Well, there's actually all states have laws about, how much alcohol can be in one cocktail. So,
but at Friday's Corner Bar, we have no such laws.
Yeah, no rules. We are outlaws. So once you put your simple syrup and mint in the glass, and syrup and bourbon in the glass, you just give it a stir. We're just kind of stirring all, just a light stir. It doesn't have to be a heavy stir. No shakes involved in this. And then you fill the glass all the way to the top with ice. And now it's actually needs to resemble a snow cone. The ice should peak at the top. Because this ice, this is an important factor, right? This ice is going to melt. It's going to dilute. The julep is meant to be drunk on a hot day. So you want to make sure you have plenty of ice in that puppy. And you're going to want that ice to dilute all of that alcohol. Now the final thing on the julep is the mint garnish.
The final.
The final.
This is the end.
So basically, you want to make a little beautiful mint bouquet.
You need
And
to
then
talk 5 more minutes.
You want to give it a slap, and then you put that in the cocktail. You want that to stick out. I need one.
And why do you want it to stick out, Chandler? Why do you want it?
Honey, I'm going to explain that in one second. So, part of my shtick. Let me just finish my second bouquet. We'll slap another minute. Oh, somebody's
Who
calling.
the hell's calling during our show?
Somebody's calling. Okay.
It's my brother. No, it's not.
Okay.
Hello?
So Stephanie says, my kind of bar. We like our heavy pours, Stephanie. Carolyn Flatters says, oh, an adult snow cone. Exactly. Like when I first made this, years ago, Jake had gotten a Hawaiian ice maker, and I made it with some Hawaiian shaved ice, and it wasn't as good. Now the mint julep, you always want to put a straw in. Now, if you guys have been watching, you know how I feel about my glass straws. So I have glass straws, but if you don't have a glass straw, you actually want to cut the straw, maybe a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch right above the lip of the glass, because what you want is the person to have to put their nose down into that mint to take a sip of that drink, because that's what's going to really, finish off the cocktail. The other thing is you really want to, touch the bottom. You don't want to spend too much time touching the top, because you really want this. This will develop a really nice froth.
Yeah, it's going to get really frosty, and it already is starting to. And also because it's a lot of bourbon, when you come down, the mint actually takes away a little bit of that bourbon, not only the taste but also the smell. So
yeah. So it's probably some of the ice. I always drop ice.
No, it's actually.
There's always ice on the floor.
Okay.
So cheers.
Cheers. I
hope you guys make some mint juleps for Kentucky Derby Day. Don't be afraid to adjust the sweetness.
That's tasty. That is very good. I hope you make those Kentucky hot browns. That's what I hope you guys make, because they are amazing. I actually bit into the one that I made earlier. So
yes.
Let me just check this one
This
and
is
see where
very
it's
good.
at. Not quite there. We have
This
2
is
minutes.
the first time I made the 1 to 1.5. Last night I made a 1 to 2. Yeah, I do like it with the.
Yours, you like yours better?
I do. It tastes more like iced tea. I think it really depends on what you're trying to go for. If you're trying to go for I want a bourbon cocktail, you put less syrup in it. If you,
I don't know.
if you're I want a nice little iced tea that I can sip that'll make me feel fine, then you put 3/4 of an ounce in.
I don't know. I can't really tell that much of a difference. I think they're both really good.
Okay, Jim Southwick, let's just talk about. Love it. I made your margaritas last Friday. Tonight is mint julep night. Cheers, Jim. And
Thank
Jim,
you, Jim.
Our hearts go out to you. So sorry, buddy. And Lisa Garvey, looks yummy. It is.
Kevin.
And Kevin, I got quite the education tonight. Well, we always try to educate.
I'm not sure if it's a great education or the right education that your parents would be proud of. But anyway, no, we're glad that you guys all tune in. We love doing this. It's been a lot of fun for us. We started this back in July last year due to all the COVID and the isolation and all that stuff. And we've continued with it. We've talked about maybe discontinuing it through the summer and all that stuff. But I think
we'll see. But we'll see what happens. But next week, we are going to do our show on Thursday night, not Friday night. And next week's theme is going to be breakfast in bed. But we also have a guest coming next week who grows a bunch of varieties of peppers and makes an Italian. I'm going to pronounce. Do you know how to pronounce it? It's an Italian
pepper thing.
And
it's very good.
It's delicious. It's delicious. So he's going to be on the show. Mike is going to make some Jacques Pepin's French toast.
Ice cream French toast. This is one you do not want to miss. So if you like a decadent breakfast, that your husband is going to cook for you because it's for Mother's Day, this is the show to watch. It's really good. I tried it out last week or the week before, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is super good. So it's
So that is the plan. So thank you so much. As always, we love the comments. If you can share, that would be great.
yeah, well, just share with your friends, share with anybody you know.
And anything you want to see or hear, we love getting feedback.
Yeah, we're open to suggestions. If there's like, oh, could you do a show on this or that? We're there.
Okay.
Adios.
Adios. Cheers, everyone.
We hope your horse wins.
Yes. May your horse